One kid killing the parents is a bad seed. Two kids killing the parents is a bad family.
You knew your parents also, did you not?
Yes.
You had your own relationships with them?
Yes, I knew them in some ways better than Lyle.
And based on what he told you, did you, within your own head, without any prompting from him, feel things were about to happen?
Yes.
Was there a decision made between you and your brother about leaving?
Yeah, I said, we gotta get out of here. And Lyle said, we gotta tell Mom and Dad.
Well, what was the reason why you had to tell them? If you were afraid of them and you thought something was going to happen, why don't you just sneak out the back and go away?
Because I had parked in the front, first of all. And second of all, we could have avoided them, but he wanted them to he just wanted to say, you know, we're going out and we'll be back, and just, I guess, calm things.
Was there a rule in the family that you were supposed to let your parents know when you were leaving the house, going out for the evening?
No, not always. Not always.
On this night you felt that they should be told?
Objection, lady.
Why did you tell them on this night if there was no such rule?
Because we were trying to pretend as if everything was calm, we didn't think anything was going on, and we were just going out to the movies, and we wanted them to know where we were so that they wouldn't suddenly do something right away.
So they wouldn't think that you were where? You wanted them to know where you were, so
Yes.
they wouldn't think you were where or doing what?
Well,
Did you want, all right, were you concerned about whether or not your father would think that Lyle was making good on his threat?
yes,
His threat to tell?
yes.
So did you want them to know where you were?
No, that's part of the reason.
Objection sustained. The answer is stricken.
What was your thoughts about what you thought your father or mother might be worried about with respect to the two of you?
Objection, lady.
Overruled.
We wanted them to know where we were. I mean, we couldn't avoid it on Friday, so we tried to just to stay home part of the time. But, you know, most of that weekend, we wanted them to not to think that we were telling anyone or going to any place to do that. And so we were trying to keep them apprised as much as possible of what we were up to so that they wouldn't think that. And
Okay.
that's part of the reason Lyle stayed home.
So did you and your brother then go to the house in order to tell your mother that you were leaving?
Yes.
And can you tell us what happened when you got to the house?
I went, we went through the kitchen to the back area, and Lyle went through the kitchen, and then there's the den. I don't know if you have the diagram.
Yeah, we have the diagram. This is the front door. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. And when you entered the house through the front door, was there a living room to the right and that paneled study to the left?
Yes.
And then was there a dining room beyond?
Yes.
Now, is this what's throwing you, this indication of stairs?
Yeah, partly.
There are no stairs, there are.
No, there are no stairs here. There's no door there, and there should be a door there.
Okay, and there are stairs here.
Yes.
And these stairs go up the top story, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, now describe it.
We came through the kitchen area, and I didn't want to go into the den, so Lyle went into the den, and I guess said he was going out, or we were going out, I'm not sure. I went through the dining room into the foyer.
Through a door that doesn't show on that diagram, is that right?
Yeah, I went right through here. Lyle went through here.
Okay, so you walked, first of all, you went in through what doors from the outside? How'd you get into the house at all?
I think we went through the service area. We may have gone through the breakfast room, I'm not sure.
Were there doors that led from the breakfast room to the backyard tennis court area?
Yeah, those are missing too.
It's French doors?
Yeah, there should be French doors right there.
And then there's also a door that leads right into the service porch?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, so you went through one of those and you went into the kitchen, correct?
Yeah, yes.
Now, between the kitchen and the dining room, there was a door, was there not?
Yes.
And could you go through that door without being observed by people in the den?
Yes.
And you could also, however, from there, go straight into the den?
Yes.
Okay, if you're whispering to me, it doesn't make any difference.
There's
Nobody can hear you.
a door right there.
After you had gone into the dining room, could you hear what was going on in the den with your brother and whoever he was talking to?
Well, Lyle, I guess, was sort of walking out, and so my mom came out because the conversation took place.
He was walking.
Lyle was coming through here, and my mom and Lyle I saw talking right there.
Well, why did your brother go into the den and you go into the dining room? Why'd you split up?
Because I didn't want to go into the den.
And he went into the den for what purpose?
To tell them that we were going out.
And did you then cut through the dining room and go out into the foyer?
Yeah, I went right down into here, actually. There's no door, but it's like an arch that leads into the living room.
All right, but to come through the dining room, is there a door that leads from the dining room to the foyer?
Yeah, I went through the dining room door that leads to the foyer and across the foyer into the archway.
So you were waiting for your brother in the archway?
Yes.
And at that point, did you see your brother or hear your brother?
Yes.
Which first?
I think I saw him. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure which I heard first. I think I saw him.
Okay. And when you saw him, did you see your mother as well?
Yes.
And where were they?
They were right in front of the bathroom area, right? This is the bathroom. And then the foyer starts right there.
Okay. What did you hear being said as between your mother and your brother?
I heard my mom saying that Lyle and I couldn't go out, and Lyle asking Mom why can't we go out, and her saying because she started to stutter. She didn't answer.
And was there anything about that you thought was noteworthy or important?
Yeah, I started to get the chills right then.
Why?
Because they were saying we couldn't go out, and that means that we were going to have to be in the house with them alone, and I didn't like that. I was already having a bad feeling, and I was having a worse feeling right then.
Was there anything that you had to do the next day where you had to go to bed early, or anything that Lyle was supposed to do that?
No, it was a summer day. There was no school. There was no tennis in the morning.
So there was no particular reason why you'd have to go to sleep early to get up early?
Yeah, that's why it was so strange. I mean, I thought they would just say, okay, I guess. But when she said, no, you can't go out, and then she wouldn't answer Lyle as to why, I was really starting to feel it.
What did Lyle say to her when she said, no, you can't go out? What did he say?
He was saying, why? Why can't we go out?
And how did he sound to you?
He sounded, I don't
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, and then your mother started to answer him?
She didn't. She started. She's saying because, and she ended up saying because I said so, because I say so, and that's when my dad came out.
Did Lyle ask her again before your dad came out, or did your dad come right out?
I think my dad came right out.
Where did he come from?
He came from the den.
Could you see he came out?
Yeah, I saw him come out, and he said, "Shut up, Kitty."
Objection are vague as to whether it's...
The record should reflect I've written the word study under the word den. This one here, labeled family room.
It was called the den.
When your father came out of that room, would you tell us and show us what he did?
He said, "Shut up, Kitty."
Now, I saw you made a gesture with your right hand.
Yeah, he used his hands a lot.
In that particular gesture, had you seen that before?
Yes, he did that when he wanted you to shut up, or he wanted you to stop moving, or he wanted you to be still. He just went.
That's a sharp, cutting type motion?
Yeah.
And did you see him use that to shut your mother up over the course of the years?
Yes.
And when he said, "Shut up, Kitty," what'd your mother do?
She shut up.
And what did your father do?
He told Lyle that he wasn't going out.
And did he say anything else?
Yeah, he told me to get up to my room. He said he'd be there in a minute. He pointed to my room.
He pointed.
He said, "Get up to your room and I'll be there in a minute." I'm not quite sure in that phrase like that, but that's basically what he said.
Do you remember when your father said, "You're not going out"? Do you remember if your brother said anything to him about leaving?
No.
You don't recall?
No, because right after he said, the first thing he did was tell my mom to shut up, and then he told Lyle that he wasn't going out tonight. And then right after that, he told me to get up to my room, and so Lyle just, I guess, responded to that.
Well, how did Lyle respond after your father gestured and said that you were to get up to your room?
He said, no, you're not going to touch Erik. I think he looked at me and told me to get back down the stairs, but I just specifically remember him saying to Dad, you're not going to touch my little brother, you're not going to touch Erik, you're never going to touch him again, that kind of a thing.
Okay. Did Lyle say anything to you to the effect of get back down, we're leaving anyway, or anything like that?
No, he didn't say get back down, we're leaving. He may have said, no, Erik, but I just remember him saying that, and because I remember thinking to myself, you know, Lyle, what are you doing? Are you crazy? You don't get into an argument right now, right here. And I was just sort of going up the stairs real slowly.
Did you, in fact, start going up the stairs?
Yeah, I was right in front of the stairs, right in the archway, and I started just to walk up the stairs real slowly, I was hesitant about going up.
When your brother said to your father, you're not going to touch Erik, you're not going to touch my little brother again, did your father respond?
Yes.
And can you tell us first, what kind of tone of voice did your father respond in?
He just jumped at Lyle. He came right over him, and he said, I do what I want in my family. It's not your little brother, it's my son. And he just was real yelling at him, real jumping at him. When
you say he came right over him, did he move towards him?
Yeah, he walked right toward him, as if, you know, ready for a fight. And I could not believe what was happening.
How did Lyle respond when your father came towards him?
He just moved back and he said, no, you're not going to touch Erik. And I said, oh, Jesus.
Okay, wait a minute. Lyle backed up when your father came towards him?
Yeah, whenever Dad came toward Lyle always got timid and went away.
Got timid?
Yeah, you could tell by his face.
When your father made this statement to Lyle, what did Lyle say, if anything, in return?
Lyle just said, no, you're not going to touch him. But his voice was a lot weaker.
Did Lyle say anything about still wanting you to go out with him or wanting to leave?
He may have said we're leaving, and my dad just, when he started, he doesn't really stop. It's like a rush of wind. It's like a hurricane. He just, and he just said, no, he's my son. I say what I want in this family. He's not your little brother. You're not going out tonight. And Lyle was saying, no, you're not going to touch him. And he said, don't tell me what to do. And he was coming closer. And he just ended it by telling me to go back up to my room because I was sort of lingering on the stairs.
So this was up and back between Lyle and your father?
Not really up and back. It was Dad saying what he was saying and Lyle sort of squeaking in, no, you're not going to touch him, no, you're not going to touch him.
Okay, well, Lyle was answering. He was trying to say something.
Yes.
But was the tone of voice different as between the two of them?
Yes.
And then your father, did he say something to you again?
Yeah, I guess he saw me lingering on the stairs and he said, get up to your room. And
now, Mr. Menendez, how did you interpret? What did you think your father had in mind when he first said, get up to your room, I'll be there in a minute?
I had two things in my mind.
When he first said it, this is before the argument with your brother.
Well, I knew what he was saying.
What, in your opinion, was he saying?
That he was going to come up to my room and have sex with me. It's what he always did when he said that.
It's what he always did when
It's what he always did when he said it.
When he said what?
That he'll be there.
That he'll be where?
When he told me to get up to my room and said that he was coming up, that's what he meant.
And would he mean that for various kinds of sex, or just one kind, or what?
For various kinds, but it really depended on how angry he was. Sometimes he said, go up to your room and I'll be there in a few minutes. Sometimes he said, go to your room and I'll be there in a minute. And you could tell by the tone of his voice or how angry he was what type he was going to have.
What type do you think he was threatening you with when he first said, get up to your room on Sunday night?
Sex.
And over the past 3 years or so of your life, was what you call sex something that was done in anger or something that was done more neutrally by your father?
It was done in anger.
Did it start out that way?
No.
Years before?
Years before.
Now, after your father approaches Lyle and again tells you to get up to your room, that he'll be there, what is your state of mind at that point as to what you think your father has in mind?
It didn't just change suddenly. It was one and the other. I thought they were going to kill us, but I thought Dad was going to have sex, and there wasn't any doubt about it in my mind.
He was going
At that point, I was more afraid of him coming up to my room and having sex than anything else at that point.
At that point. Did something happen that changed that?
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, I realized from looking at Mom, it was real clear what was going on.
Well, where was Mom during this exchange where your father was approaching Lyle?
When Dad came forward, Mom came up along next to him. She was along the wall, I guess, near the wall of the on the other side of the bathroom, and she walked forward.
But during this exchange, where was she?
Next to Dad.
And how did she look? What was
Well, not right next to him, but a little bit behind him, right next to him.
close to him?
Yeah.
Okay. And during this exchange between Lyle and your father, what, if anything, did your mother say or do?
She didn't say anything.
And how did the exchange between Lyle and your father end?
It just ended with Dad saying again, "You're not leaving this house."
And what did Dad do?
He went back into the den.
And did your mother remain in the foyer after your father had gone back in the den?
Yes.
And were there any words between your mother and your brother?
Yes, I didn't hear them all. There were just a few words. I was up at the balcony at this point.
You were up on the balcony?
Yeah.
How did you get there?
I went up the stairs. Once Dad told me to get up my stairs again, I could not go up.
So you went up and you were at the top of the stairs?
Yeah.
And were there words between your mother and brother?
Yeah, Mom said something like, "You ruined this family," or something like that. And Lyle said something to Mom, and I really don't remember.
Do you remember what
then
the
Dad came.
Do you remember what the subject matter was of what Lyle said to your mother? Did it have anything to do with
He
you?
said something like, "Are you going to let this happen?" or "Do you want this?" or, you know, I thought he was talking about either them killing us or him coming up to my room. I didn't know. I didn't hear it too well enough to know exactly what he was saying.
Could you see your
Yes.
mother down below from the balcony?
Yes.
Did you look at her face?
I looked at her face on the stairs on the way up. I couldn't really see her face from the balcony.
And was there anything about her face on the stairs on the way up that told you anything?
Oh, it was clear. It was clear that something was going to happen.
Why? What did you see?
Just from my mom's face, if you know her different looks, and she has many different looks.
What was this look, Mr. Menendez?
It was just a stone, resolved look.
She didn't look nervous?
No.
She didn't look frightened?
No.
She didn't look angry?
No.
She
Well,
didn't?
she looked a little angry.
Did she look out of control?
No.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
You've heard people describe your mother when she was irrational and out of control, have you not? Mm-hmm. And they describe this grimace and the fists and that whole thing.
Yeah, she used to clench her fists and her whole face would turn red.
You've seen it. And you saw it over the course of your life?
Oh, yeah.
She's not in that condition at that time, is she?
No.
Objection, leading.
Objection sustained. The answer is stricken.
Was she in that condition at that time or in some other facial mode?
No, she was in a strong sort of just hard look and not out of control, not flipping out, not any of that. Just a resolved look, and
how did
it scared me.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. How did seeing that look affect you?
It scared me.
Why did it scare you?
Because my mom was not often in control. She was not often completely aware of everything in her surroundings. She was often paranoid or not good with words. She would something would just set her off real easy. And a conversation like this, where Dad was yelling at Lyle or Dad was yelling at me, she would take his side immediately and get angry.
Take whose side immediately?
She would take Dad's side immediately and get angry with us and either, reiterate what Dad was saying or continue to say what Dad was saying, or just sit there, but really with this angry look on her face and this scowl. That wasn't the case here.
So after this exchange between your mother and your brother, what happens next?
Dad comes out.
Comes out of where?
Of the den and grabs Mom.
The family room / den?
Yes.
And he grabs your mother?
Mm-hmm.
And what, if anything, does your father say?
I don't remember. He's, come
don't
on,
remember?
or don't waste your time. I don't remember.
Okay. Try not to say things you don't remember, okay?
Okay.
All right. What happens next after your father says something to your mother?
They go back into the den and close the door.
Now, could you see them close the door? Did you hear them close the door?
I saw the doors close.
And how could you see that from the balcony?
As you can see it from the balcony.
Does the balcony look down on both sides?
Yes. Well, there's the stairs goes up, over, and then there's the hallway and the balcony. So it's sort of like in a circular, so you can see down. The stairs aren't circular, but it ends up going in sort of the outer edges of a square, let's say, and you can see in the middle of the square.
Okay, so there's like an open rectangle.
Yes.
And what you're calling a balcony is sort of like a gallery, is it not? It's a straight corridor
Yeah.
that's above the staircase, but then there's an opening and you can see down.
Right.
And were you watching your parents when they were out there in front of the family room den during this argument?
Yes.
Were you, how carefully were you watching them?
I was really watching them. I was really scared, and I was really wanting to know what was happening. I mean, I was looking for any sign to see what I thought was happening was not happening. And
Okay.
I just saw him go back into the den.
And you saw the doors close?
Yes.
Now, at that point, Mr. Menendez, what did you think was happening?
I thought my dad was going to come up to my room and have sex, and I thought they were going to kill us.
You thought both things were going to happen.
Yes.
And at that point, did your brother come up the stairs?
Yes.
And did you say anything to your brother?
Yes.
Okay, now, what do you remember saying to him?
I remember.
Best you can recall.
I can't let him come into my room. I can't. It's not coming into my room. I can't let this happen.
And what did your brother say to you?
He said, "Don't worry about that." Well, he didn't say, "Don't worry about that." He said, I guess he said, "Don't worry about that. It's happening now. What are you talking about?" Something like that.
Okay, and what did you think already, before your brother said anything to you, what did you think was going to be the result of that night?
That I was going to die.
And what about your brother? Well, how was he going to do that night?
Oh, you could tell. I mean, he didn't.
No. What did you think was going to be the condition of your brother?
Oh, I thought he was going to die too.
And die at whose hands?
My parents.
And when your brother said, "It's happening now," is that what you already thought?
Yeah, that's what I already thought. I mean, it really scared me how he looked at the top of the stairs, but I just said, I got to get to the car.
Now, when you said it really scared you how he looked, who do you mean?
My brother.
How did he look that really scared you?
He looked really panicked. I mean, over my life, especially that weekend, I really looked at my brother to see how he was looking, to sort of judge things, because I knew that sometimes I wasn't thinking right. And like on Thursday night or on Saturday night, I could tell from his expressions, and then on Sunday night, for sure.
Did you consider yourself to be different emotionally than your brother?
Yes.
Which of you did you think scared easier?
I did.
And over the course of your life, was that true?
Yes.
So, in looking to your brother, what were you trying to see over the course of those days?
I was trying to see, other than what he didn't always tell me everything. A lot of times he protected me and didn't tell me everything, or told me gently what he felt like when I found Mom's suicide letter, her first one.
Just tell me what he looked like, though. You said you were looking to him to see how he was feeling. Is that right?
Yes.
And what did you see or hear
On Sunday night?
over the course from Thursday to Sunday? What is your opinion of how your brother was feeling?
Oh, he was feeling scared. I mean, I
And
could tell
how
from-
did... I'm sorry.
At different times, he was feeling different things. On Thursday night, as soon as I told him what happened with my dad, I remember his face just went white, whiter than mine. I mean, it went white. And I remember on Saturday night, after Mom's conversation, he just looked scared, but
And-
not like he was on Sunday.
And on Sunday, how was he as compared to those other times?
He was much worse.
And how did it affect you, if at all, to see your brother, who was less emotional than you, being scared?
It scared the hell out of me. I mean, it almost made me lose it right there, out of control.